Hello YouTube, welcome back. I'm getting ready to get started on the hearse for the mayor for the cemetery Christmas Nightmare Before Christmas display that I'm doing. My game plan is to use a few of these lightweight wood sheets, so this way I can try to keep it as light as possible. My plan is to lay them on their side, so they're going to the thing will probably be 8 feet long, but at that point it'll only be 4 foot tall, so I'll be taking another sheet and ripping it down to probably somewhere between 18 to 20 inches, just so I can get it closer to a little over 5 feet tall by the time everything's said and done. Because when you kind of look at the one in the movie, it looks very tall, you know, especially with the mayor sitting in there, so I kind of want to give it the best look possible. I do have some reference pictures that I'll be working off of, because I want to try to get it as accurate as I possibly can. You know, like with most of my stuff, I try to get it as accurate as possible. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be spot on, but, you know, I'm going to do the best I can. My game plan is to use those reference pictures and just, you know, measure out, draw my lines, kind of get the shape that I'm going for, and then cut everything all out, and then just start screwing everything together. So let's see how well this works out, and let's get started. Alright, so I got it all traced out. I used the marker. I only essentially made the lines bold of the ones that I need to cut out. Some of the other lines, like say like this one right here, this one, those I'm going to have to do kind of like a trim to kind of give the look of the different levels from here to here to here and that kind of stuff. The next step is going to be I'm going to take the two sheets, I'm going to screw them together so they're nice and even, so I'm going to cut them both out at the exact same time. Same with that piece. Now that piece is obviously, because of that weird cutout, wasn't big enough, so I'm going to have to put that piece, I'll have to put that piece, and I'll get it all cut, and I'll just put a piece behind it and, you know, anchor it all together. But it's going to come a little short. It's going to be kind of like right here, so I'll have to work with it. But it might work out pretty good because this whole section has to be cut out anyways because of the window. So I'm going to go ahead and start screwing it together and start cutting it out. Alright, I got both sides cut out. I kind of goofed up a little bit. I was supposed to leave the wheel on there, but for some reason I had it in my head that I needed to cut the wheel well out. So now I'm going to have to figure out how to rework that, but it is what it is. It's already cut, so I'll just keep on moving forward. The next step is to run some 1x2s around the whole perimeter to kind of create a framework. And then I have one more sheet that I'll rip it 3 feet wide. So this thing will end up being 3 feet wide when I'm done. And then all my drop pieces will be for like the smaller sections. So let's start working on that. Alright, so I got all the wood screwed to them. You can see where I kind of cut the nose pieces off. That's because there's a slight transition from one piece to the next piece. So I cut that off so I can make that transition. I'm going to go ahead and make the main frame, the main portion at the 3-foot mark, and then I'll start scabbing these front pieces in, and then hopefully this thing will start taking shape. Alright, I had to pause the camera for a minute and lean it against the bench so I could get, you know, this front piece right here on and that back piece on, because I couldn't get it to stop wanting to do this number. So now they got those on there, plus the top, it's now squared everything up. Now I can continue working on the nose piece and then add a bunch of extra filler pieces and then kind of find a way to box off the back side where the mirror is going to sit and move forward. Going to show real fast how I'm doing the transition between the two. You can see where I have the 2x that I screwed to the main frame. I have that board that's going across, and I put another 2x4 on there that's set a little bit back, and then I'll be able to put that other piece on. I'll show that real quick. Alright, so here I am with the front end. I had some PVC pipes for the headlights, because in the picture I'm using it shows that it kind of has some headlights, and this is much further in than that. You can see where I just used blocks of wood to stair step each piece. So, and then obviously I made sure these pieces went all the way down, so it's giving a lot of rigidity this way. Next is going to be to build a rib for here, put these pieces on. Then after I put those pieces on, I got some ribs to put up here to support this. And then I'm going to cut some thin strips that are going to come up and go around to kind of make it look a little bit more like a window frame on the front and the back. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do inside as far as blocking this back off. So when I put the mirror right there, you don't see the back half. And then I'll figure out if I'm going to maybe hang some curtains in here, just some fabric just to kind of close it up, or what I'm going to do, and then it'll be painted black. So keep on working at it. Alright, so I got the ribs put in place. I got a backer piece right here, so everything's all tied together nice and solid feeling. I got my piece on the top here to kind of create my window frame, and now you see it really stiffened everything right up. I got the 2x on the back for the same thing. Now this one, you can see I kind of ran at an angle because my 1x stopped here and here. So what I did is I tied it in, here and here. And what I do is I'll add a piece of wood right there to kind of finish the slope off. And I'll add a small piece down here to kind of create the window frame in the back. The next is to start working on this. Now I don't know if the wood is going to work. I don't know how well it's going to bend, the stuff that I'm using, but I have two different items over here. One is that polywall stuff that I used for the the coffin that was half in and half out of the ground, very pliable. Then I have this sheet right here, which is only like an 1/8 inch, and that's really pliable too. I'm going to try that one first because I want to make sure it still stays somewhat rigid, and this is all going to be painted anyways. If that doesn't work, then I'll go to that right there, but I need to save enough of that to make the mayor's head, because it kind of looks like a lampshade, so I'm going to cut that and kind of create his head out of that. So, but I'm going to go ahead and start working on that next. Alright, I got my first piece cut. Now I left it a little long, so it gives me a little bit to kind of play with, so I don't cut it too short. So let's see how this first piece goes on. And as long as this goes on as good as I'm hoping, hopefully the rest will. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and come back to that top part, and the other two are don't have as much crown to them as the top one does. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get the other two done with the wood. And the top, maybe I'll take some of that curve out of it. The only downside to that polywall stuff is, you know, it is a form of a PVC, and it's only a 1/16 of an inch thick. So once it gets out there in the sun and the heat, you know, even though I paint it, it's going to kind of buckle and kind of that kind of stuff. So I might just take some of the crown out of that and be done with it. So, but for now, I'm going to see if I get the other two done and go from there. All right, next I'm going to work on right now is the wheel well area. There's like a, you know, where it has like a little step out. So I got to go around the wheel wells, across the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I've already traced out 4 of these on 2x. So this way it'll be 1.5 inches wide. And then after I put those in place, then I will take my drop piece that I have left over, which is right here. I'll rip that directly in half, and that's what'll make up, you know, the rest of it as it goes this way in between each layer. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut and start getting ready to put those on. Okay, I got the first side cut. Now this is all based off a reference picture I'm using. You can see where it kind of, the bumper doesn't go all the way around, just kind of like tapers up, goes around the wheel wells, goes back, and then it kind of feathers down at the back. Then it has just like almost looking like a piece of pipe on the back for a rear bumper. So I have to make something like that. But I got the first side mocked up, so I'm going to go ahead and get the other side mocked up, and then I'll screw it to it. And I have a lot of little gaps that I'm going to have to fill, like right here, because the way my taper is. So I'm just going to do like that that funny little saying, do your best and caulk the rest. And once it's all painted, you're never going to see it anyways. Alright, show the progress where I'm at. I got both running boards in place and caulked into position. I went ahead and I got the front window framed out. I also put a little overhang on the roof here. The picture I have kind of shows a little bit of an overhang, so I went ahead and did something like that. I have a piece of wood that I put back here. All that does, and that just made the whole thing nice and rigid. This thing has absolutely zero back and forth sway now. Got the back window also framed out. So the next step is going to be to paint the whole thing black. I'm going to hang some black curtains in here. I got to put the cat on the front of it, figure out what the grill looked like so I can do something for the grill, and then make the horn for the top. And then all that'll be left after that is to make the mare to sit inside of it. Alright, I was kind of looking at some extra pictures just to kind of see where I'm at. And some of the other pictures I'm noticing is this front section has a lot more taper to it. And I feel I made this way too boxy looking. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of disassemble this front section here and kind of get a little more taper to it and make this grill area a little bit smaller. So this way it looks a little bit more accurate, I guess you can say. And then I noticed on some of the pictures, there is a small window here that's got to go there. He has red curtains, so I'm going to have to get some red fabric instead of the black I picked up. And the back window is completely wrong. So I'm going to have to essentially put a whole new piece on here. It just has a small window here, and he has a little lights on either side. So I'm going to have to redo all that. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on the front, because I got to pick something up for there anyways. So I'm going to start tinkering with this front and see if I can make it look a little bit better. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so that's a little more like the character that it would be. So I tapered each end in 4 inches, and then then the centerpiece, I'm going to drop that whatever I need to drop it for the lights to be on either side, and then I will start reassembling. Alright, so what I had to do here, because I got to keep the fender flares going in the straight line they needed to. So I just built a wedge piece right here. Now I'm just going to take some like maybe that poly wall stuff, because it'd be good right here, and make it to where it fits this and goes all the way to the you know, side here, and then just caulk it all in. So, but now I got all that part done, I'm gonna go ahead and redo the front grill area. All right, I got it back together. That is definitely much better. Definitely has a little more, you know, cartoonish look to it than it did before. So I still got to finish this part. Other than that, and obviously the back window, and then I'll be pretty much about ready to start doing some paint very shortly here. All right, I went ahead and caulked all the seams. Now what I did here, it's kind of the same thing I did with the bust, you know, where I just took the caulking and built it up with caulking. See where I just kind of used the caulking to create that area right there. It'll be just like the bust in a day or so. It'll be skinned up enough to where when I paint it, it's not going to hurt it. That might not be cured all the way through for a few days, but it's not going to really hurt anything because I still have to get that back right there done first. And then I kind of want to build the mare before I actually paint it, just in case I got to make some kind of adjustments anyway. So it'll probably be a few days before it actually gets painted, and by that point that stuff will be dry enough to where I don't think I'll have an issue. So, but this is where I'm at with it right now. All right, I'm pretty much just about done with it. I got the little window cut out right there. I did a little reinforcing just to make sure it didn't weaken that board. I got the back window redone. Now the panel I put on the back is not glued on, it's not fixed. It's meant so I could take it back off. The reason why is because once everything's all painted black, I got to get in here and hang the curtains. So this way I can get in there, I can pull this off, get in there, hang all my curtains, you know, staple the curtain to this, and I can literally just put this right back on. So this way I can crawl to that opening. But now to start working on the mare and hopefully get this painted very shortly and get this one finished up. Alright, I'm getting ready to start working on the mare. I just decided just to get a lampshade to do this. You see I got some tape on it, so I have a nice straight line for the two-sided. One side I'm just going to paint it with this paint right here, and then the other side is just going to stay the white color because it's kind of a peach on one side, white on the other side. So I'm going to start painting that, and then I have a mannequin bust that I'm going to use for the body of him, and I'm just going to add some extra wire to the bottom to kind of give it that flared out look like he has. And then I'm going to build essentially a stand that'll allow him to essentially sit right inside there, so I just pop him in there when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting this and see how well this goes. Alright, now that that's painted, I'm going to let it sit out in the sun for a little bit and dry. And I'm going to work on the bust portion of it, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to use to make the hat. Alright, so what I got going on here, like I said, I got this mannequin bust right here. I just you know, made sure I just took it off the legs. And on the bottom here it has a nice spot where I got to put a piece of 1/2-inch conduit. So what I did is I measured it all out and figured that it's about 30 inches tall. If I held it about 20 inches from the ground up, that'll give me close to 50 inches, which puts them kind of in this area. Leaves still plenty of room for to be seen well and to be able to put a little bit of a hat on it. So what it is, I built this contraption right here. The purpose in this is when this sits inside the car, this part is where the mannequin's going to sit on, and I can probably find some way to anchor it on there a little bit better. If not, just with the conduit will hold in place. And then the rest of it, I'll put a piece of wood from there to the back right there. And what that's going to do is that's going to create the bench to make it look like the rest of the bench where he's not sitting. And the rest of it right here, the jacket will come down far enough to where it's going to hide this little perch right here. Because from the ground up, there's my 20 inches. But I wanted to make sure this didn't come higher than the side of the car because then it would look goofy. So I had to do it in this manner, just so I can kind of, I guess you can say, conceal it and kind of make it look like it's part of the car and not just like some afterthought thrown in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that screwed in and go from there. All right, so I got the mannequin and the thing just sitting in there for the moment. You see where I just kind of made it look like just a bench in there. I got to make him a little more stable somehow. You see it's kind of rocks a little bit. But other than that, I just got to get ready to start painting the face and paint the whole car. Now they got the platform done, I can go ahead and paint the car. Like I said, I didn't want to paint that till I got done with that part, just in case. Because right now, when I paint, obviously I'm going to paint everything at one time, so the whole thing's all blacked out. So I'm going to start some painting. Alright, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and start painting the face. Start off with some pencil just to kind of get the basic outline of the one side and then the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting this real fast. Alright, I got the face all painted. The colors are based on the few pictures that I could find. So I got that side, then we got that side. The next is going to be mounting it to the bust that I have sitting inside there. Obviously you can see it's still in the process of drying, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot with it for the rest of the night, but I wanted to get this done. So next is going to be making a small hat, and then I got to make the horn for the roof, hang the curtains, and a couple other little things, and this one will be done. Couldn't help myself. I wanted to put the character inside there just to see what it kind of looks like as overall, proportion wise, height and everything. Now, obviously, I still got some dry time going on here, so it's not fully ready to do much else with it. I also probably going to see if I can find myself a much larger jacket so I can fill it out some more, because the character is a much larger character in the movie. But if I can't find one, then I'm just going to leave it as is. But next, I'm going to make a small hat for it, hang some curtains, make the horn, try to find some good pictures of what the grill looked like, put the cat on there. And I'm pretty much going to consider this one a wrap. I'm not going to put any kind of wheels on it, because where it's going to be sitting, it's just going to be sitting there anyways. You're not really going to, that's not something that's going to be really be seen being in the dark and all that stuff. So I'm not going to bother worrying about doing anything about wheels. I'm just going to kind of prop it up a little bit. But here we are so far. All right, here we go again. I went on the movie itself and fast forwarded to areas where they're kind of showing the hearse, because I was trying to get an idea of what the grill looked like how it was shaped, how it was painted, and all that kind of stuff, so I can make it look good. And realize that this front end area still is not quite right. The biggest thing is the little reference picture that I was working off of was just kind of like, it was like a toy, kind of thing. And it kind of looked like the headlights were kind of shaped like that right there. In the movie, they're nothing like that. So I'm going to be kind of disassembling this front section a little bit, reworking that a little bit more, and reworking the headlights a little more to make it look a little bit better. I'm going to be working on the rear lanterns that are on either side of that back window. And the fender wells are way too small based on what I saw in the movie. So I might just leave those alone just because they were already a pain to begin with to do. But if I really get spunky, I might change those as well. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and rework that front just a pinch and work on those lanterns and see if I can finish this thing up. Okay, so I got the nose cone done. You can see it definitely has a lot more taper inward. I also raised the center up a little higher, and then also tapered it this way, so it looks a lot more like the picture that I took from the movie when I paused it. I changed the lights. I found these little bowls right here. They have like these little covers that snap out, which is going to be good, because what I'm going to do is in the movie I noticed that the headlights look like pumpkins. So I'm going to paint the back side of this and make it look like a pumpkin. Put a little tea light in there, and then when I put this back on, then it'll kind of look like they're kind of lit up a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do, which obviously if I don't stop changing my mind on stuff, I'm never going to get done. I didn't like the mannequin for the mare. There's no way I was going to give it that look that it needed to be. So I'm in the process of building this right here. So you can see where I got the nice wedge shaped taper that the mare has. So what I did is the top one is the same diameter as the lampshade. I just stuck it on there, traced it around. The bottom is cut to 20 inches, overall. Then just a bunch of 2x4s with a 15-degree angle to create that so I can have a little bit of body to it. I'm probably especially in the front, because I want to make sure it looks okay. I'm probably going to put masking tape across there, kind of like I did on my my groundskeeper guy, to kind of give it a little bit of a solid look so the fabric doesn't try to go in between them. Heavy duty baling wire and spoon noodles for the arms. And I don't have a tuxedo or anything that's going to fit this thing, but I have like an old witch's dress. It's very stretchy, so I'm going to drape that over it so that I have the look. And I'll either come back with some white fabric and kind of create like that little V area where you can see his undershirt with the spider, where his bow tie would be. And then I'll put the like mayor red ribbon on him as well. So let's see how well this works out. Alright, and for my next trick here, this is going to be the lanterns for the back. It's just a cheap little $6 bird feeder. What I'm doing is, it's a nice 6-sided one. It can give me a perfect line right here where I'm going to cut this directly in half right here. And then same thing with this, I'll cut it, right on these seams, all the way down to the bottom. I'll take off this perch stuff here. I'll cut it down all the way to the bottom here so it's nice and flat. Then I'll take a piece of wood and run a piece of wood across the inside right here on either side of it. So that'll give me my back piece that I can screw it to the back of the hearse. And then I'll take masking tape and I'll put masking tape on here and tape this off in such a way to make it look like the glass. And then once I paint it all black, peel the masking tape off, screw it to the back of the hearse. These will be my lanterns. So, next step is to cut that and get that done. Alright, so I got the lanterns ready to go on the back of the hearse. And then I just got to paint the part black that needs to be black. So essentially they're going to go right on here just like this. The picture shows them almost going to the top. And then once I paint them, and everything will look pretty good. And then I have it set up to where these are going to be screwed on. So this way, if I wanted to, this piece that's still that I left on here, I could always put a light bulb in there. Like maybe get one of those solar lights or something like that. Put a little LED here and make it light up later on down the road. That's why I'm going to screw it to it and not actually make it like a permanent fixture. But all I got to do is anchor those up and paint them. Alright, so I got the lanterns put on here. You see I got everything painted. Right now the paint's still wet, so I'm not going to peel the masking tape off until that's dry. But I got both those on there. You see I've got some red fabric. So I got the red fabric on there all the way around. I've also got him pretty much done. I still got to do the little spider on him and the little red ribbon that goes on there. So I got his hat on him. That's still drying as well. Got just a little bit to do with him still. I still got to finish up, the little pool noodle area and all that kind of stuff and all that. I got the nose cone repainted, so that's all painted. Wait for that to dry. Next, I'm going to be building a grill that's going to go on it to kind of give it like a little more of a three-dimensional kind of look like the one that's in the movie. And then I'm going to be painting those little plastic pieces that kind of like that pumpkin thing I was talking about. So I still got to paint those. And then I got to do some grays, almost silvers on it to kind of give it like the chrome moldings that the one in the movie has. And then just got the horn. And I will be calling this one a wrap. Alright, I'm getting ready to work on the horn. Now this is kind of like a Slimer thing I made for my 21 display. That's what I had hanging up for the Ghostbusters to catch. You can see where I was able to draw it out. I'll probably have to fill this in with some caulking, depending on how I shave it. But I should be able to make that horn out of that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting that up. Alright, to kind of show what I'm doing here, I got the the basic horn shaped out. But I got to find a way to make it to where I can support it up on the roof. So what I did is I cut this part off, cut it in half, and I took my torch and I heated this pipe up and stuck it in here. So what that's going to do is once I glue this into here and then glue this back on the face of it, I'll drill the hole inside here. So this will go all the way to it. I'll put some caulking around it, and then I'll be able to take a 2x4 on the bottom side of the roof where you won't see it, drill a hole, stick that in there, and that's essentially what's going to support the horn from falling, sagging, or breaking in half. So I'm going to go ahead and get that finished up. Show the progress I've made so far. I got the front grille, headlights, bumper, cat all put on. I'm still waiting for caulking to dry on that so I can paint that with the black and white stripes. I went ahead and painted the, trim and the scrolls. Pulled the tape off of the lanterns. Pretty much all that's really left now is to finish the horn. And I think I want to try to do something maybe with this gap that I have now that was generated by building the new, stand for, the mirror there. So, but that's where I'm at the moment. Alright, I wasn't originally going to do wheels, but it's starting to get a little heavy and it's going to be a little awkward trying to get this thing out to the front yard. So what I'm doing is I have these big metal wheels, or just a set of casters. I just took them off the bracket, and it worked out perfectly with the wheel wells that I decided to leave on there. That with a 2x ran across the bottom here. From the top here where I could put a bolt, it'll put the wheel almost perfectly centered in this wheel well right here, and I have it down far enough to where the wheel will be nice and flush with it right there. So the next step is to run something from here all the way across that I can use to put the wheel on. I'm probably just going to use a piece of pipe and then weld a bolt on the end of it that I can put like a washer and nut on, and then paint the bottom black so it's protected, put the wheels on, and then a few last little details, and then I'll be done with this. Just to show what I did, because this isn't going to be bearing any weight or anything like that. It's more or less just so I can roll it. As you see, I got my 2x4s. I did have to space it down an extra 3/4 of an inch. And I just use those, those pipe anchors. They use them for like electrical conduit and stuff like that. Ran a screw into here, put it on here, and now once I tighten these all up, that'll keep it from moving up and down. And then I'm right now have everything loose. And then all I gotta do is just tighten everything down, put the wheels on it, and that'll give me the ability to roll it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and consider this one to be done. Next step is to take it out and set it in the display where I want it to be. Now the hose right there, I purposely left that orange so it stand out a little bit so you can see where he's kind of looking into like the microphone, like he's talking through the bullhorn. Now I made a couple last minute touches to this, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. They work off this remote right here. Got headlights. I got taillights, and then I took some old candles, stuck them in there, and I got little candles inside there. And then the icing on the cake, I put a motor on it so his head turns, just like it does in the movie. So you see both sides of his faces essentially. The only thing really left that I have to do is I got to find a spider that goes on his shirt right there, and the little red ribbon that he has right there that says mayor on it. Those are the only two things left, which are kind of minor. I can go to the store and pick up a red ribbon, and I'm pretty sure I have a spider somewhere in my Halloween stuff. But other than that, I feel that this one's done, ready to be put in the display. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.